I am a Ron DeSantis lover. Aside from his family and those who he helped directly, there is no higher admirer of Ron DeSantis than me. He is the best governor of my lifetime. And I'm a student of history, so to the extent it's measurable, Ron DeSantis is probably the most admirable governor since the 1860s. Nobody has used government power to roll back school educrats, roll back high-handed corporate bosses, roll back insidious bureaucrats against his own government. All those groups have of late brought wokeness into power. Okay? When woke individuals just stayed in their little apartments, fine. That doesn't hurt. But when they came into power over the last 10 to 15 years, big harm. All of them need to be put back into their little holes. And only in Florida have big strides been met. Ron DeSantis, Florida's governor, already knows how to tweak our national anti-woke interests. He's the one who sent, last summer, illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard. He got a beautiful reaction, remember, from those blue-haired goofballs. It couldn't have been choreographed better. He pushed against Disney World effectively enough to dethrone Disney's CEO 2,500 miles away. He's literally the best asset within government that conservatives have had since Ronald Reagan. And the stakes now are even more dire than when Reagan was campaigning. Back then we had, at worst, the threat of losing international allies to Soviet hegemony. Today, the threat, it's within. Whether American values can stand up against the rot of anti-American interest groups who've permeated our media, our government, our corporations, our universities, our philanthropies, and our K-12 schools. If any political person can make continued headway to stop this rot, it is Ron DeSantis. He will, but his best way is not in running for U.S. president. As of now, March 2023, Ron DeSantis wouldn't have enough support to win. Very few conservatives are on board with a truly conservative take-back. Most conservatives seem to be squeamish when real conservatives like Candace Owens, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles announce anyway, principled conservative stances. So a presidential run by any true conservative is fraught with not only the incessant critiques and at times falsities from the leftist media, not only the squeamishness of most suburbanites who might lean conservative but hold a very natural fear of being outcast, not only the rural conservatives who don't want to be perceived as outcasts even though they govern their families in upright fashion, but even a large cadre of national conservative pundits. They're not yet fervently on the side of conservatism. Even the best governor of our lifetimes is not going to win them over. Ron DeSantis might get the Republican nomination, but his image will be so chewed up from the primary run-up that he will be unelectable. By next summer, a strident DeSantis will be almost as unpalatable as Trump was in late 2020. Trump lost by 5 million votes. Find me 5 states Biden won that'll go the way of a conservative in 2024. Pennsylvania? Okay, its voters just elected a brain-damaged Democrat hack. Nevada? Its congressional representation, please look, it's 5-1 Democrat to 1 Republican. And for the last 3 years, to Nevada has come an influx of Californians, making their electoral demographics even worse. Maybe Republicans win back Arizona. Okay, That's 11 electoral votes. But Republicans, I think, are just as likely to lose North Carolina. That's 16 electoral votes. Biden only lost North Carolina by 1.4% last time. If Biden, for vice president, nominates one of the Castro brothers from Texas, Joaquin or Julian, Texas and its 40 electoral votes go to the Democrats. If the Democrats replace Biden with almost anyone, a conservative opponent is in big trouble. If they replace him with Michelle Obama or Oprah Winfrey, it's lights out. Could there be a widespread rightward shift in sentiments? Well, here's why it's unlikely. Number one, our populace isn't angry enough. We don't boycott woke corporations. We don't revolt against government policies. We rarely pull our kids out of public school. Even conservatives are not angry enough. Lois Lerner is not in prison. Not a single state government official who locked down illegally during COVID has been brought to justice. Reason two, the leftist media is more brazen than ever. Truth barely gets out. Even big stories that do make it out, they get out feebly and too late. 26 months it's been since the truth about January 6th. 36 months since the truth about COVID's origins. 41 months since the Hunter Biden laptop revelations. Final reason, in close states, Democrats are going to cheat again. Why wouldn't they? No official who helped Democrats cheat has lost his or her job. Nobody's been sent to jail. Nobody has even been fined. Not that fines really matter, because just as mafia bosses used to pay for families whose low-ranked mobster went to prison, well, Tom Steyer or George Soros or some leftist organization, they'll reimburse erstwhile cheaters who get caught and fined. So, what is this DeSantis fan asking for? That he runs for president only to be a clarion voice who loses? No. That he run Florida. Run Florida well for another 3 years. Put people in its government who will run it well for another 30 years. Let conservative families flourish in Florida. It's a good phrase, by the way, flourish in Florida. More importantly, and this has national impact, help conservatives turn their own states conservative. Help conservatives who are stuck in intransigent blue states where they're not going to turn them. Help them move out to Florida and other red states. Make America like Florida now. And by decade's end, we'll have an even clearer bifurcation. Red states where people are happy and successful. Blue states where people are whiny and all but the elite's language. By staying home, Ron DeSantis is a national game changer. By going micro, meaning helping conservatives invade corporations, schools, local governments, he would do politics where it's more effective. And by supporting families, the ultimate political core, Ron DeSantis makes changes where it's most effective. Remember, even if a conservative could eke out a presidential win in 2024, we don't want to legislate imperially. I'll say that again. We shouldn't legislate imperially. That's why 5-4 Supreme Court decisions in our favor, or even 7-2 Supreme Court decisions in our favor, without public support for their being good, are not potent. We want to codify the good mantras that the public has already been convinced to support. Good conservatives get out there convincing. If Ron DeSantis really wants to be U.S. president, let it come in 2032. It's 9 years away. He'll only be 52. He will have the prior impact on the public, matched only by General Dwight Eisenhower back in 1950. We conservatives can wait for a second Ron as president. We can wait as long as there's progress locally and state level. Ron DeSantis, please stay home. You could be a kingmaker. I have a suggestion there too. And you will not be as tarnished as you will be in the chew-up that is now the modern presidential process against conservatives. I'm Mark Stewart.